was crying. The song Shadow Light is not just a song, but a confession. The Seoul sky was still dark when the song suddenly appeared on HYB's private audio channel. No promotion, no teaser, no announcement. Only one upload with title, Shadow Light, and uploader name not mentioned. But within 3 minutes of the song airing, the entire army in the world realized one thing in common. It was Jungkook and Jimin's voices, and what is even more surprising, the song is not just a song, it was a confession. A long-awaited, long-kept confession, and finally it was launched, not with a word, but with tone and silence. Shadow Light is only 3 minutes and 27 seconds long. Not long, but in such a short time, everything that had not been said for years was finally heard, opening with a low whisper touted as Jimin's voice. The song begins not with instruments, but with the sound of heavy breathing. The sound was enhanced by soft guitar passages, followed by Jungkook's vocals that sounded much darker than usual. Not because of the low tone, but because of the restrained emotions. You said I was your light, but why do I keep hiding in my own shadow? The lyric is followed by a chorus that combines the vocals of both, not in the usual harmony, but in a colliding arrangement of sounds. Jungkook sings slowly. Jimin cut in a fragile whisper. I ran to the light you promised, but my shadow stayed behind. Army reaction? It didn't take long for it to become a global trend. But not because of hype, not because of promotional strategies, except for tears. The comments filled social media in a matter of hours. Why do I feel like they're singing something they've kept for too long? This is not a song. This is a secret message. I don't know the story behind it, but my heart breaks after hearing it. Some lyric analysts and Korean music critics have said that Shadow Light is an emotional representation of the inner conflict experienced by two people who were once so close, then moved away from each other, and now trying to make peace not just with each other, but with their own shadows. The song is, according to them, not about romantic love, but about a bond too strong to be described by the word friendship. Songs that describe guilt, a sense of loss, and the desire to return not to the past, but to the once inseparable version of themselves. And sure enough, towards the end of the song, there was a long pause. The music stops. Breathing sounds again. Then Jimin sang slowly, "If you come back not as a light, I want to be your shadow. Just don't disappear completely." Then, "Shut up, an pretentious cover, just the sound of the studio door closing, and click on the record button that is turned off. Some fans have called this an open letter that should have been sent years ago." That Shadow Light isn't just about what happened, but about what they failed to say back then, and now they can finally sing. And if this is really written by Jungkook and Jimin, then this is the highest form of courage, singing their own wounds for the first time, without disguising them in metaphors or overproduction. TO date, HYB has not given an official statement. No composer name, no production credits. There is no explanation as to whether the song will be included in the album project or not. However, an internal staff reportedly mentioned in a closed forum, Shadow Light is not a project. It was an impingement. One shot, one time take, not edited. They just want to express the heart that cannot be written. And maybe that's why the song feels so deep and honest. The end of the night, Shadow Light is no longer just a song. It is a confession that cannot be conveyed in words. It was a letter that was never sent. And more than that, it is proof that even in silence, love, longing, and wounds can come together in an unplanned tone. The days after the silent release of Shadow Light turned into a kind of collective reflection period for millions of ARMY. Unlike the release of previous songs that were greeted with fanfare and euphoria, this song actually brings a quiet, heavy, and full of memories. It was as if a door that had been closed for a long time was finally opened, not with a key, but with the courage to gaze into an old wound. Not a few fans returned to trace the traces of the old interaction between Jungkook and Jimin. Video snippets from their rehearsals, backstage moments, until pieces of the songs they used to create together began to reappear on the timeline. But this time, viewed in a different way. One ARMY wrote in a long thread, "We used to think they were just close friends. But perhaps Among all the laughter, there were many things they could never say directly. Shadow Light feels like the last shard of a story we've been trying to understand. Even independent music analysts began to dissect the structure of the song. They found a unique thing: this song never reaches a climax. There is no build-up to a strong chorus. There is no resolution in the composition. Precisely, this song ends on a hanging note. It was as if something was still left behind, unfinished, and that's his strength. Shadow Light does not try to close the story. This song keeps that feeling open. Within the Korean Army community, there has been speculation that the song is actually part of a personal project that was canceled in 2022. At that time, the two did record a song called Between Us, but the project was stopped for no apparent reason. Now, fans believe that Shadow Light is a remnant of that project, not the final, but the most truthful version. There is one sentence from the leaked recording of the studio session that left many speechless. "Jungkook, if you can't sing that part, I can change it." Jimin, "No, I have to sing. This song is not us." And when the part in question finally appeared, Jimin's voice sounded a little broken. Not perfect, but precisely because of that, it feels real. Some sources said that after the song aired, Jungkook and Jimin requested that no promotional campaign be conducted. There is no TikTok challenge. There can be no merchandise. There is no remix version. They want the song to live only in the hearts of those who really want to listen to it. For them, Shadow Light is not a legacy for the world. It was a letter sent secretly to each other and accidentally read by millions of people who share the same taste. This song also ended up creating a new space among fans, a space where vulnerability is considered brave, honesty is considered triumphant, and silence is considered the deepest form of love. Someone wrote, "This song makes me want to call people I've been away from for no reason. Thank you, Jungkook, for teaching me that sometimes the only way to heal is to stop pretending to be unharmed." Shadow Light will probably never perform on the big stage. It will never be officially promoted. It will not be performed on variety shows or headlined on any music shows. But that's precisely why this song became something too valuable to forget, not because of the production, not because of its popularity, but because of the honesty that flows from each of his tones. Honest about the wounds, about longing, about hope that was extinguished, and about two hearts that have been silent for too long. Army is crying, not because they understand the whole story, but because they know there's truth there. The truth that so far can only be felt, not explained. Of course, not all songs are written to be songs. Some songs, such as Shadow Light, were written as doors, a door that opens slowly, so that a small light can enter the darkest space within. If this is a confession, then this is not a confession for the world. This is a confession to yourself and to each other, and for the first time in a very long time. Jungkook and Jimin don't sing anything to please anyone. They sing it because they have to, because otherwise the words will continue to settle behind the smile, behind the camera, behind the silence. Now, they're not asking for applause. They only ask for one thing: listen, not to understand, but to feel. And here we are. Listen, feel, and slowly heal with them.